Hi, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the armorer's lawsuit in the Alec Baldwin case. And I'll get to that in just a moment. Hannah Gutierrez Reed has filed a lawsuit in New Mexico involving the Rust shooting. And there are a number of places you can go to have that lawsuit broken down. I'll put a link to Viva Frei in the comments down below, or I should say in the description down below. And you can go check out his review of that lawsuit. I think what you'll find is it's a very thorough review, and it will give you a flavor for what is wrong with that particular lawsuit. But without throwing a lot of shade on anybody or anybody's lawyer, because I don't know the facts in that case, I don't know New Mexico law, I'm not a New Mexico attorney, I'm not involved in that case, and so it is unfair for me to judge what's going on. What I will tell you is that a lot of times when a client comes in and says that they want to file a lawsuit, a good lawyer talks them out of filing that lawsuit. And the reason they talk them out of filing that lawsuit is because it's not a good idea. In Hannah Gutierrez Reed's case, she is potentially on the hook, at least being partially responsible for a negligent homicide. And in that situation, it is far better to keep your powder dry and your mouth shut. It's far better to do that than to go off half-cocked, no pun intended. In every case where you're involved with the criminal law, the more you say, the less it helps you. The less you say, the more it helps you. And there is this thing called a judicial admission. In other words, when someone drafts a pleading in your name and says, it happened like this, A, B, C, D, and E, and puts that in front of the court, any court, at that point it becomes a judicial admission. It becomes, for purposes of cross-examination, your statement about what happened. And any factual admissions you make in the course of filing that lawsuit, those can be used against you in a criminal trial. That's the way it always works. That's the way it's worked since Miranda versus Arizona. You have the right to remain silent. Should you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. If you've ever watched Adam 12 or any other police drama, I guess I'm dating myself, but if you've ever watched any police drama, you know that police give this Miranda warning, and that Miranda warning tells you what happens if you say too much. And inevitably, people talk themselves into jail. All an investigator must do in many cases is simply remain quiet. I have seen in depositions, for example, somebody ask a question like, and what happened then? And then what happens? That person gives an answer. And the lawyer, without saying another word, cocks his head and goes, and doesn't say anything. And the silence drags on. And before you know it, that person is talking again, trying to fill in the gaps, trying to figure out what it is he or she left out that makes their answer suspect. And all the while, they are giving that lawyer the ammunition he needs to cross-examine them, either in that deposition or later on at trial. For that reason, it's just never a good idea when there is a possibility that you could be on the hook for criminal negligence for you to file a lawsuit and make admissions in that lawsuit. Now, one of the things that I don't understand, and I'm frankly a little flummoxed by, is the fact that one of the causes of action here is strict liability, product liability. Product liability is normally only asserted when you have a personal injury. In other words, you have a dangerous product that's introduced into the stream of commerce that hurts someone. There is strict liability for that. And I can understand why Halyna Hutchins would have, or her family would have, a cause of action for strict product liability. But I do not understand how the armorer, who was not hurt, could have this cause of action. Now, perhaps she reasons that her reputation has been damaged. Well, that may very well be, but unfortunately, hurt feelings are usually not particularly compensable under the law. And as a result, when you file a lawsuit and you make admissions, it almost never works out the way you think it will work out. Now, Viva Frei, as I mentioned earlier, has done a fabulous breakdown on that pleading, and I would recommend to you to go watch that video and make your own determinations from what he puts up on the screen. But I can tell you the realization that I came to last night was the lawyer probably should have talked her out of filing this lawsuit. And barring that, he should have been much more careful about some of the things that he claims or admits in the course of that pleading. Now again, I don't know all the facts. He may be completely right in doing that. He may be the best lawyer in New Mexico for all I know. I don't know him personally, so I would never claim to assert that he's doing something wrong. But the outward perception, in other words, what it looks like from the outside looking in, is that could possibly be a mistake that could come back to haunt her later on. A lawyer's first obligation to his client is to protect that client. And sometimes that means protecting the client from herself. And that means telling somebody, I understand your feelings are hurt, but this is not the way to go about redressing that problem. So, again, take a look at the video, go through it, and see what you think. I'm sure that if you try hard enough, you can probably find the pleadings online somewhere and read through the information that's out there. The Baldwin Rust shooting is a tragic case. It's going to have tragic consequences, not just for Hutchins' family, and not just for Souza, the director who was shot, and not just for Alec Baldwin, who has gone off like Ricochet Rabbit talking about this all over the world. It is ultimately going to have consequences for the armorer, for the companies that were involved, and eventually, when this is all sorted out, somebody is going to be paying a lot of money and somebody is going to be receiving a lot of money. And that is how the law is going to work in this case. Now, who gets what and how that all works out, we're just going to have to wait and see. But it will be interesting to follow, and I hope you'll help me follow it here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you doing so. If you haven't already, please go over here and subscribe to our channel and tap on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we do a video here. In addition, I'd really love a thumbs up, if you would, to let people know this is good content. And I would just thank you for watching and have a great day. I'll catch you on here next time.